Namaste, this is Rishikesh Writings, and today we are with the personality you all know, and it's the personality called Vijay Krsna, which is devoted for Krishna. Namaste, Vijay.
Namaste.
Vijay, how this journey started in your life? American child, which is around the magical city life, and come toward the India and learn about the Krishna.
Well, I was born actually in England, United Kingdom. My mother and father, in their own separate ways, were interested in mantra, meditation, healthy living and lifestyle since before I was born. So essentially, the music that I was surrounded by, the lifestyle that I was surrounded by from birth was quite conducive, or may I say favourable, for me to also consider the benefits of such ways of living.
And how you see yourself now in this journey of mantra?
I can say that on behalf of my teachers and on behalf of these extremely powerful mantras and names of the divine, which are non different from mantras, we can say, hallowed be thy name. They say in the Christian language means that name of God is holy and sacred. And then here in India, the ancient ways of mantra technology and sound vibration, it is also agreed that essentially the sound and even the name particularly of the infinite or God or love can create happiness and love, and can create godliness in a sense. It can bring awareness and love, awaken love for God. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's I consider myself a servant of that. And I consider myself a servant of people getting together, which means sangha.
Yeah, sangha.
And kirtan. Kirtan means to celebrate with love. To celebrate love means God with love. You know what I mean? To spread the glory of the most glorious things. So I consider myself a servant of sangha and kirtan, which means sankirtan.
Sankirtan. And if you not choose a path of the mantra chanting and kirtan, so what will you do in the life?
Yeah.
There is any other plan during your school days? You thought about it? Okay, I would like to do some different extreme.
Yeah. It's more clear to me now, that question, the question of what would I do if I wasn't doing kirtan. I feel like the purpose of life, of not just my life but also the lives of others, is also to somehow evolve and to grow, and to also assist and help others in growing also. And I consider that really the two ways that this is actually expressed the nicest means love and awareness of love and growing for ourselves and together is through sankirtan, like I said, community and kirtan, and then also through prasad, food. So I think that if I wasn't doing kirtan, that I would be into cooking and feeding people and trying to figure out ways that I could share with people, not only with the food being prasad. I think you know what prasad means.
Yeah.
That all food should be prasad. All food can be made with such love and then offered with love to love, which means God. And then that food itself will go and nourish people, not just their bodies and their minds, but also their soul. So this is called prasad, soul food. You know, so if I wasn't doing kirtan, I would be doing prasad, soul food.
So if you talk about the prasadam,
Yeah.
so what is your favorite thing to cook in a prasadam?
My favorite thing to cook myself? Generally, I can say how much I appreciate khichdi.
Yeah.
The yogi's bowl, you know, it's a wholesome meal. And I consider that khichdi has 5 friends. 5 friends of khichdi: butter or coconut oil, the vegans, lemon, papadam, yogurt, and some sort of achar or chutney. Okay, these are 5 friends of khichdi. So I like having khichdi generally, and other wholesome foods like avocados are very, very healthy, and fruits and nuts. And I also, most importantly, follow Ekadasi, which is twice a month. We follow on the 11th of moon of the waxing moon and the waning moon, so both sides of the moon within 1 month. 2 days are there under the name the 11th moon, Ekadas. So Ekadasi is a day where I will just eat as little as possible and add more goodness into my life, which means more sadhana, more practice, spiritual practice. I won't listen to any nonsense music. I will only listen to good mantras that day, and I will eat very simply, fruits and roots and nuts. This is good Ekadasi.
So when you talk about like spirituality, so what is the spirituality through the vision of you?
Spirituality. Spirituality is the interest in the idea, the concept that actually behind matter, material things, there is spirit.
And when was the first time you met your guru or master and get the initiated or the sacred mantra?
Yeah, so I first met my life and soul, my main guru, Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayana Maharaj. I first met him at the age of 11 years old in Holland, 1997. And at that time I took the Hare Krishna Mahamantra from him. He was very merciful and gave it to such a young boy. And then about two and a half, 3 years later, I took second initiation also, Vaishnav Brahman Diksha, essentially. So since I'm about 13 years old, and now that was in 2099 or something. And now, yeah, and I've considered that I entered that school, the school of, may I say, the deeper side of connection. Diksha. Diksha means two things, to receive mantra. Diksha. Di means divya gyan. Divya means divine. Gyan means knowledge. So if we're to understand divine knowledge, that is the first part of Diksha. Ksha is a very interesting sound vibration. Ksha sounds like smashing. Ksha is the destroying of all those things within the heart that aren't good for the heart. So Diksha means first establishing a connection with divine thing. And Ksha is the clearing of the heart for any obstacles or any things that are in the way for our devotion. So Diksha means these two things. So I entered that school of Diksha when I was about 12, 13 years old.
And if you talk about your school days, who's your favorite teacher and the best friend in your life, like who inspire you to go into the path of deep knowledge?
I may say right now that only one teacher is coming to mind, but the strange thing is this teacher wasn't very nice to me. But she once told me something very powerful and effective, and I always carried that with me. She said that the only person you are cheating is yourself. So now I can think about that very philosophically and think, well, what does that mean in my life? That actually if I'm doing anything, even with my time wastes, that actually it's like something like cheating. I'm cheating myself of opportunities to serve, opportunities to do my creativity, which is good for me and good for the world. I'm not wasting any time for connecting with my temple and having my quality time with my temple. So in one sense, cheating goes in many different ways. It means that actually the only person we can really cheat is ourselves. And that was very effective to me for some reason. That's what's coming to mind now, even though she wasn't like an inspirational teacher. What she said was very effective.
So when the first time you put your feet into the India, like just come down by the plane,
Yeah.
and what was the first word comes in your heart?
I was just so excited. I was so excited to finally come to this amazing land that I've been so connected to from a young age, and finally arriving into Delhi and experiencing Paharganj and having to wait in Paharganj for 3 days for a train to Calcutta.
Yeah.
So it's quite an interesting experience. It was interesting coming into Delhi and being so close to Vrindavana, but that wasn't our plan. to go to Vrindavana on that trip, we had to go to Calcutta to Navadvip Mayapur, which for us is also, we have the same appreciation for Vrindavan. So I was going to Calcutta, but at every step of the way I was very excited to finally go and see and be in the land, not only of India, but more specific of Navadvip and Vrindavan eventually also, to actually be in those places where there's ancient histories, you know, and where the culture's still alive, very, very natural ways of devotion and living that have mostly been lost to the world. And that's why India is important. And it's important that India, even as India does adapt and takes on the ways of the West is also taking on ways of the East. So there's some good crossover there. But however, the values and some of these ways of worship and good culture should not be lost to India. It should be kept alive. It's very important because the whole world can come and see, in India, how things are still like that alive. Because in the Western countries, it's been mostly lost, some of these cultures.
So when you say about the lost, which thing is lost in the West?
We can say, not necessarily lost, but we can say that there is less appreciation.
Disappear, we can say.
Or disappearing, we can say there's a loss of appreciation for those things that are sacred. Okay, so almost like because religion has developed a bad name, because religion has been responsible for lots of different things. Of course, now the spirituality, people see spirituality as different from religion. But nonetheless, I mean, true religion really means doing yoga with God. God is a creator, we are the created. Essentially, creativity is the connecting point. Creator, created, creativity. So naturally, when any sort of creativity is directly in glorification of God or the creator, this is called very high variety of creativity. And this is called bhakti yoga. When people are intentionally connecting with the creator through creativity, through singing, through dancing, through the arts. Created beings, we are created. Creativity, connect. And especially when we're very direct and clear about some of these names of the divine, of which there are many. Many names. Why many names are there of God? Unlimited qualities. Each quality, one name.
And you do many shows in the different part of the world.
Yeah.
So one of the 2 or 3 best shows in your life, like you feel okay, wow, this is amazing. I would like to present this to the world.
So something that I've seen
or
done myself.
Or done yourself.
Okay, well I can say that the festival of Kumbh Mela.
Kumbh Mela in Prayagraj.
The greatest festival in the universe.
Yeah.
Millions and millions of people come through. And do they charge? Nope.
No.
Do you have to pay for anything actually if you go there? You'll be served as soon as you walk in. You want chai, you want this, that, the other people you'll be provided for. You need a place to stay, that can be provided.
Yeah. But when we go in the West, any kind of festival, you have to register
The West
first.
needs to see something like Kumbh Mela. Understand? That idea of giving and sharing culture, which is lost to the world now due to capitalism.
Yeah.
And people wanting to always pay for an exchange, which is great and okay, it supports the artists. But imagine that there is enough abundance, there's so much, that actually these things can be funded. And thousands of people can be fed and shown and shown nice lifestyle, like Kirtan and Bhakti Yoga lifestyle. And there's no concern for tickets and all of those things. So Kumbh Mela in one sense gives that idea. So you might think, okay, well, maybe asking, well, tell me someplace outside India. But actually, can I name a festival that has such regard? It's been going on for hundreds of thousands of years. Okay, I can tell you about Burning Man Festival. I can tell you about Glastonbury Festival. I can tell you about this yoga conference, that yoga conference, all around the world. The main thing is that those things coming from this land of India, yoga, meditation, pranayama, and especially now the most valuable of them all, bhakti yoga, is starting to, it's finding itself everywhere around the world. I'll travel from Australia to Indonesia, over to India, over to Europe, 15, 20 countries in Europe, then all over the United States, Central South America also. Everywhere, just by this kirtan, mantra, yoga, I'm able to support my life and just essentially go around the world sharing it everywhere because people are interested everywhere.
And at the end, like I have a last question for you. Like you also a singer, a Kirtan singer.
Yeah.
So any other singer you like most to listen?
I like many singers. Where do I start? So many. So many have inspired me. I must give thanks for. And give gratitude to
Like you are a Kirtan singer, but then you also listen some other creative personality, other creative
Sure,
Kirtan singers.
On
and you get
Kirtan
inspiration.
specifically, I listen to quite hidden gems. Do you know what I mean? It's imagine if we to show some jewel to somebody who actually knows nothing about stones at all. They might have, oh, it's a stone, okay, you can find them anywhere, so some value can be seen there. But there's a few grandmasters of Kirtan, grandmasters, that maybe not so many people in this world listen to, because maybe their voice is somewhat broken sometimes. And maybe it sounds, no harmonium or no nice gimmicks, but that Kirtan is full of heart and is rich. And if I hear that Kirtan, then that energy, that love can also be shared with me. So I try to go for the highest end Kirtan I can. And that doesn't mean fancy, that doesn't mean expensive recording. That means how rich is their heart. So I want to hear that Kirtan. That is actually Kirtan. Until then we're practicing. It's a practice. Kirtan will come from that heart that is full of love. So I try to listen to that variety.
And how this band started, Kirtaniyas? We call it the name Kirtaniyas. Now it is a kind of brand, but how this the people get together and you make a band?
Yeah, well, it was. My whole life I had inspiration to record and be in a band or one. I love Kirtan. It was the only thing I was really interested in was Kirtan and the ancient ways of bhakti. And there were many things that led up to, kind of putting a band together, but specifically with my former partner, and still band partner, still bandmate, and dear friend Sarasvati. We were married at the time, and we essentially had the idea, let's put together a really good Kirtan band, and also have some modern style, also do traditional Kirtan, but also be able to do some modern fusion style with good taste also. And then we essentially gathered a few friends that were really good, and we went to meet them and got together and just started from there. Really, 10 years on now, so 10th year anniversary.
That's amazing and thankful. And why you love Rishikesh?
I don't know. I've been coming to Rishikesh since 2006.
Yeah.
So that's 14 years now. I've seen this whole area grow. I've seen all these buildings. I saw what was before the buildings. It's a new place. I love it. I'm happy to see it developing in one sense. I'm hopeful that it can maintain its sacred energy and keep some greenery here and some mini parks for the children. And I think that the community in Rishikesh are very welcoming to the Western and the international visitors, and I'm very grateful. I think the authorities here are also very good and very reasonable, and have been very good taking care. Also, I've always been very safe around anything like the police, so I'm very happy for their caretaking here. And I see that Rishikesh it's the top place in one sense, in its own way, for the world to come and gather and do yoga. And yoga means to connect. So that goes deeper and deeper and deeper. And I like that Rishikesh is close to Vrindavana also, because Vrindavana is my favorite place. Yeah. So I'm happy. I like that Rishikesh has a theme also of Sri Mahadev Lord Shiva and Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman. So I like those themes. It's like living in that land, and happy to be here. Very grateful again to the community for having us.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
And then Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
What's that? So you can watch us on our Rishikesh writings, and keep share if you love our works, and share your thoughts how we can improve our upcoming interviews and showcase of Rishikesh. Namaste.